I've never had a lap dance, so. Oh, my voice. I sound so nasally.
Nasally.
I know. I'm sorry.
On their website.
She looks nothing like that in real life. This is blasphemy. My right foot itches and I cannot get it. How do you itch the top of your foot when you have a shoe on?
Take it off.
I can't. These are Jordans. They take like 10 minutes to get on.
You are listening to the Workbench After Hours podcast. This is a podcast dedicated to the Second Amendment, where we talk about firearms, everything going on in the gun community, and we even try a different whiskey every week.
On this week's episode, we talk about Joe Biden's new gun safety office because the ATF isn't good enough. And we bring Joe back on to talk about new perspectives on gun control while we drink Russell's Reserve Private Barrel Selection.
Welcome back to the Workbench After Hours podcast number 89. We have a guest on, which you may recognize from a few episodes. Joe is back with us. So on our 50th episode, we had a bunch of clips of Joe and all the funny stuff he's done. So I purposely hit record once we got in here to see if anything funny came up. So if it did, it'll be, we'll have that separate.
Thanks.
So welcome back, Joe. It's been a while.
It's been nice. You know, for a while, it was almost like I was a host, but then I never got a call. I don't know what I did. Did I offend somebody?
Yeah, you did.
What happened? Can you lay it out for me right now in front of
Here's
front of
the
all
problem.
of our viewers?
You had a dilemma of either buying a gun safe or selling your guns.
I sold the guns. Well, I have a gun.
And that's why you haven't been invited back on. You chose the wrong
Don't
one.
you sell gun safes?
I mean, I could, but
Okay,
I don't.
well, that's your own damn fault. How could my buddy be a gun dealer and I don't buy guns?
You didn't ask me for a gun safe.
Well,
you didn't be like, hey.
You should always be hustling. That's all I have to say. I'm just saying it's your fault.
Yep, I'll take it.
Chris, it's a good thing you're sitting there.
Yep.
All right, well, I apologize to everyone. I did sell my pistol. That's it.
Sure, Joe. What happened to the AR-15 and AK that you had?
I never even bought those from you.
You sure did.
No.
Oh, wait. His mom wasn't supposed to know.
I didn't, Mom. I did not.
Remember that gun that you were holding last time and you accidentally pulled the trigger and was like, oops, you were scared to hold it?
Yeah.
That little tiny shotgun?
I don't like guns.
Hey, that's for sale. Whoa. Why not, Joe? Why don't you like guns? Are they scary?
Yeah, they are. They're kind of. I'm intimidated by guns still. I don't have enough experience with them.
That's all right.
Yep.
We need to take you shooting.
Yep.
But Chris, what do we got in front of us? What are we
We
drinking?
have Russell's. I bought this in Kentucky on the way back from Georgia. It's a Private Barrel Selection. So this is the same spot we actually got our Jack Daniel's Frank Sinatra the first time. So we'll see. It says it's been aged for about 9 years. It was distilled in December of 2013 and then dumped in October of 2022 and bottled in November of 2022. And it came from Warehouse 7th, 4th floor.
Fancy.
Yeah, we'll see.
To me, it smells just like Russell Tenure.
Isn't that what it is?
Pretty much. It's just selected by whoever won.
Oh, okay.
So it's a private select.
Okay, I'm sorry.
He paid extra. He paid extra for
That was
somebody
a
to select it.
joke.
Oh, I haven't seen it, and I was like, oh, I'll get it since I never see it.
Hey, I don't know. Have you tried it yet? See if it. Of course, it's been a hot minute since I've had regular.
Am I drinking it out of this?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
We'll
All right,
be
cool.
7 it.
A little vanilla.
Yeah, a lot of vanilla on that one.
Yeah.
Vanilla.
Vanilla and oak. You don't have that back end spice either.
No, it's kind of flat on the back end.
Got a little bit of spice, kind of that oaky.
Afterbirth.
God, it has been a hot minute since I've had the regular one, so I can't even compare it because I don't remember.
Is it
Do
in
you
here?
have a Russell's over there?
I don't,
No.
because I
Oh.
drank it all.
Dang it. Should have told me I would have brought my other one.
I think it's good. It's an easy drink.
It is.
It's smooth.
But are you getting any other than the vanilla? Are you getting any other notes?
I'm getting a little pepper.
Yeah.
You
Yep.
get the charred oak for sure.
Yeah. Now, all bourbons will have a little bit of that, right?
Depending on what most of them should if they're done in oak barrels. Like some of them, like I got a Jack Daniel's that's done in maple, so it's not going to have that. It'll have more of a maple flavor.
I see. Okay.
So depending on the barrel, it can change the flavor or the profile of it.
Yeah. The more I drink this, the warmer I get inside.
Yeah.
That's what she said.
One thing we wanted to talk about real quick, and we've on a couple podcasts ago, we're telling people about this is something that's probably going to happen. Well, you know that whole we're always talking about California. It all starts in California. Governor Newsom had that bill voted on for the 11% tax. So this is an additional tax on anything firearms or ammunition. So if you buy a gun or a box of ammo, instead of just paying your regular taxes that you do, there's going to be an additional 11% tax that they tax on the FFLs or dealers. But unfortunately, they're going to have to pass that on to the consumer. So as of July 1st, he did sign that. So July 1st, that is going to go in effect for those that are in California.
Sorry, California.
Yeah.
So what stops them from driving across state lines?
If you can't, really nothing. It just depends on where you are. But you can't go across state lines and buy a pistol. You can only buy a pistol for whatever state you have your driver's license
But
in.
you could buy a rifle.
Yes.
Why?
I don't make the laws.
Okay.
I don't know.
That doesn't make much sense to
I
me.
think that is the stupidest thing ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I can sell a rifle or a shotgun to anybody. It doesn't matter what state, as long as they pass the background check and all that. But in order to buy a pistol or like a receiver, something that's not completely put together, I can't sell to anybody other than the state I'm licensed in, which is crazy.
Yeah, that is a little bit nuts.
It's like, I don't know.
So the purpose of the tax is to try to stop people from buying guns, essentially.
Make it more expensive, yeah.
Yeah.
So less accessible. So, okay, so does this turn in? So this is obviously a political conversation. Does this turn into we're trying to limit gun purchases from certain income levels only?
They're trying.
Oh my God. Okay, so he's never heard about this before, but he knows exactly right there what's behind it. That's it.
Yep.
Is it you really think that's what it is?
That's what it is.
Okay, so what do you think about that?
Well, if you think about California and the people that actually need firearms to protect themselves, we're just talking about people that need it for self-defense. The ones that need it the most are being priced out of being able to own that. This doesn't affect anybody that's rich. I mean, if you got a lot of money, add 11% tax, not a big deal.
Yeah.
No.
Nobody cares.
No.
Or they don't care.
This is going to affect the people like in Oakland. There's been a lot more crime in Oakland, and they've come out and said, hey, the whole defund the police kind of backfired on us. So now Oakland is having a lot more thefts and car thefts during the day. And Chris and I talked about this on a podcast. They're actually telling residents of Oakland to use air horns when they're being mugged during the day.
What if you're being mugged at night? Are they worried about waking people up?
Right.
Like, why can't you use an air horn at night?
No, you can, but there's a lot more stuff happening during the day.
Well, that's really sad, and I think it's I don't know anything about this at all, but I think it's just a really sad way to do this, and I think it's just a way for them to get some sort of control when they have been so far unsuccessful to really accomplish any sort of gun control.
Yeah.
And in reality, it makes no sense anyways, because people that want guns to cause violence are going to get guns. They're going to steal your gun that you paid 11% extra tax on.
That's what we've been saying all along.
Wow.
Gun control only hurts the law-abiding citizens. You could ban every single gun, but you think those criminals that
Want to cause harm?
think that's going to stop them? Hey, this is illegal, so don't do it.
And they already have them.
Yeah.
I mean, they have, I'm sure, stockpiles of guns that, yeah. And if I lived in California, I owned a gun, I probably wouldn't even use it. I mean, I don't know if I would use it for self-defense because it could ruin somebody else's life, ruin my life, I mean, and how are you supposed to really use a gun for self-defense?
Well, okay, so
Other than point and shoot, but like, how do you make the decision to use it for self-defense?
a lot of people, say somebody breaks in your house and, there's videos of criminals breaking into people's house with multiple rifles breaking in. Obviously, they're not there to just have a party and come for a glass of Russells. They're there to rob you or kill you. So if you're sitting at home with your wife and somebody breaks in and you physically see that they have a gun, is that going to be like, oh, well, should I shoot them?
Can you?
Depending
In
on
California, can you do that and not
I don't know.
have
about
repercussions?
I would. So California is completely. I would.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Sorry, I don't know. I mean, can you? Like, so you buy a gun and you shoot somebody with it, like,
Here it depends on what state.
Here we have stand your ground and castle rules.
yeah.
So, but California, probably not.
Probably not. Well, I don't know.
Massachusetts gets a little funky too because they're really strict. But California, I don't know. But what they're trying to just Governor Newsom wants to ban all guns, and he's come out and said it, and he's been trying to, but judges have been throwing out a lot of the stuff he's been trying to get past because they're like, hey, this is way too unconstitutional. So he just keeps trying more and more stuff. He actually, something just got shot down by a judge, and he started throwing a fit about it. I forgot what it was. I think it had something to do with magazine capacity or something. But he was throwing a fit because the judge was like, hey, this isn't constitutional.
Yeah, it was, I think, on the 30, on our standard round capacity, they said it was unconstitutional.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so as far as your question, Joe, I don't know what California's laws are on using it for self-defense, but say most free states, if your life is in danger, you have the right to use
Deadly force.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
As long as they're not their back turned towards
Well,
you.
so like great example, it doesn't involve a gun, but in Kansas or in Independence, the auto parts worker, they got robbed, and the worker chased them. From what I've heard, chased them out into the parking lot and strangled one of the suspects to death.
Mm-hmm.
He was already on the parking lot.
Yeah,
Like you can't do that.
No.
No, once your life is no longer threatened, then you can't use
Can't do
deadly
it.
force.
It'd be hard.
And you never want to go after
yeah.
Yeah.
whoever, because that's just
So when is your life threatened? You know, the example of you're in a car and a crowd of people is bashing in your windows. When is your life threatened? Is it when they get in and they touch you, or is it when they're bashing in your windows?
yeah. This is
Or is that up to a court?
right. This is a question that we brought up during dinner. Is all the
Protesting.
riots and protests.
Well, and it's really just the people sitting in the highway. I mean, from what I've seen, sitting on the highway protesting
blocking
climate
roadways.
change.
Yeah.
Oh,
But there are people getting on cars too.
during 2020, there was a lot of protesters that were, because you would see it, the police wouldn't go near all these protesters, and there were people in their cars, and the protesters were actually breaking out windows trying to drag these people out. And we brought up, at what point can you run these people over with your car to get out?
Or just drive away and you don't know what's gonna happen. I mean, you just don't know.
You're
not doing it. You're not doing it on purpose, right? I mean, nobody would
You're getting away
hopefully
from
do that. You just get away from the threat.
danger. Yeah.
But then there are repercussions. So like when are the repercussions? I guess that's not up to us.
I guess it also probably depends on what state you're in.
Yeah.
But if you can show that, hey, they were breaking my windows trying to pull me out, God only knows what's going to happen at that point. My life is threatened. Yes, I drove my car, and the ones that were in front of me on the way, in front of me or on top of it, got injured or killed. Hey, what was I supposed to do?
Yeah.
That at that point, my life was threatened. I think you should be fine. I don't know what the rules are in
It'd
that
probably be
situation.
court and jury. And
But
all
these
that.
are all things that like a tax levy doesn't.
Yeah.
What are we? Just what? Make it 50%, and just be done.
So,
Like, what's the difference?
Biden actually,
He wanted 1,000%.
yep, he tried to get 1,000% tax on guns, and
He's
that's
making a point, is what he's making.
Yeah.
and that's another. It's like, okay, so that would not affect the rich. Who's that going to affect?
Everybody else.
Everybody else.
Pretty much anybody under
Again,
1,000%.
Then all of a sudden, if someone gets caught stealing one, it's worth a lot more money. They're going to go to federal. Well, I guess you probably go to federal prison anyways, but it's a
It's a
much
felony.
larger crime, and then
Well,
they're going to get him anyways.
Because a felony is anything over $1,000 now these days.
Well, like, okay, so marijuana is legal in Missouri, right?
Yeah.
Well, a lot of the people that are buying it were probably doing it before, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's the same. It's the same
Same concept.
principle. It's
And
like
a lot of the people are from another state.
Yeah.
right. It's just the same thing. Now, I mean, maybe he should lower the tax so people come there to buy them, take them out of the state, so they don't ever have them in the state in California.
Right.
They ran out of stock, like Priuses. So, anyways, yeah, that drives me crazy. I don't think that I don't know. I mean, I'm not smart into politics, but that just I think it makes it difficult on people to work with their freedoms. But
And I mean, guns aren't strictly used just for self-defense. I mean, there's a lot of people that like to target shoot. There's competitions in shooting. There's all sorts of stuff. Obviously, hunting too. So it's not just we're talking about buying a gun for specifically self-defense.
Talking about everything else out
Yeah,
there.
I mean, I want to have a side by side to freaking go, clay shoot.
Because I know here, like we talked about this before, like all the taxes and everything from purchases for guns or ammo like that goes back to our parks and wildlife.
Mm-hmm.
So if they're taxing them like that, their fucking parks and wildlife better be phenomenal. because that's ridiculous.
But speaking of all that fun stuff, Joe Biden just announced that he is making a new office that's going to be run by a bunch of Democrats probably. But so they are starting a new office called the Office of Gun Violence Protection.
So
Because he's, his goal has always been ban AR-15s. He says it all the time. But he can't do it because Congress won't vote on it because they know it's not constitutional. So nothing can get passed. So he's tried to do these ATF rules.
So what's the difference between that and the ATF?
This is another way that they're going to try and get around Congress. So he's using the ATF to get around Congress to create all these rules that aren't constitutional.
You can't get around Congress.
Well, he has. And he's making this.
If he's going to do this, he better start influencing it on his own son.
It's a crime bill. This is just a crime bill.
Go after your own son.
I mean, I know it's an office, but like,
yeah.
You can, how do you target one specific type of violence? I mean, maybe there's logic there that they can concentrate on this, and
it's specifically for guns,
right? So like, maybe are they thinking that if they just target guns, then they can figure out a way to prevent violence in guns? Because if it's just a violence protection, then you have to worry about knives, guns, arm wrestling,
or just vehicles like we just
vehicles,
talked about.
verbal, maybe but the point isn't that. The point is to try to limit specific types of guns then.
So Joe, let me ask you, do you think it's guns are the problem, or do you think it's the people?
It's a social issue.
Because
it's not guns. It's a social issue. But guns, the access to guns is a problem as well. Not legal access, but it's, I mean, maybe legal access as well to certain people. But like, it's a social issue. So, are they going to try to prevent certain people from like abroad, like who can buy it, or like, I guess, lessen who can buy a firearm? Is that what they're going to try to do?
Ultimately,
but that's unconstitutional right there. And then
but a felon can't buy a gun. That wasn't. I mean, was it written in the Constitution that felons could buy guns? There's been a law for that.
Yeah, but then now you can get into discrimination, civil rights acts, and all like that. I mean, that opens the floodgates for other.
Because we've said that, and a lot of people say this. Like the Florida sheriff after that Jacksonville shooting not too long ago came out and said, it's the media keeps blaming it on the guns, like we got to ban guns. He said specifically, and what Chris and I have been saying all along, it's not the gun, it's the people that are doing this. These guns behind us, Joe's intimidated about guns. He doesn't know a whole lot, so he, intimidated. But these guns back here, are they any threat to us? Are they hurting us? Are they going to hurt anybody? No.
I mean, if Chris has that entire bottle of whiskey or bourbon, he might.
Right? If I decide that I want to do harm, sure, I'm going to do that. But that's the person doing that. It's society that is having problems. So when a big argument is red flag laws and trying to people with like mental health issues, maybe keep them from owning guns. But the problem with that is, where do you draw the line? Like, what mental illness qualifies for that? And like, how do you, because that could,
don't know,
PTSD. If you have PTSD, should you own a gun or not? Even though you probably serve for our country.
What about high anxiety? I mean,
exactly.
What percentage of the population suffers from anxiety?
And is
I do. I mean, I can't. So
I think everybody has some sort of anxiety, social anxiety or whatever.
Well, let me ask you a question. How do other countries do this? So like England, right? You don't hear about, I mean, there's obviously gun violence in England, but you hear about it so much less than in the United States.
Because they don't have the Second Amendment, so they don't have the right.
They don't have anything protecting it.
Right. So
okay.
So
so what if, and this is not me saying that this is what we should do, but what if we're somehow successful in eliminating the Second Amendment? What would happen?
We'd be overthrown by just about every country.
Why?
Because now they know that.
But England isn't. The UK is not overthrown by another country.
No, but
they're next to the ones that are. They're around the ones that are crazy.
Look how close Russia, China, Japan are to us.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, right now.
But what is Keith owning? This is not my opinion. I'm just asking for the viewers that may be interested or listeners. But like, what is this? What are we gonna do? Like, get together in masses and protect the country.
That's what we're supposed to do.
Right.
That's why we have the Constitution.
But they're not going to roll in here with these guns. You know, they're going to roll in here with. They're not even going to be here.
Look at Japan. The reason why they bombed Pearl Harbor, they knew if they tried to come in and try to take us over, they couldn't because every American has a gun.
Mm-hmm. And look what we did to them. We didn't even have to go there.
Yeah.
Right. But like Russia's not coming here to fight us.
Everyone's
right?
scared to come here because they know there's more guns in circulation in the civilian.
I don't know if I agree with that. I don't think they're coming here. I think they're sending something here. I mean, that's what they would do.
They're scared to.
Well, today, it's a little bit different today.
It's a little different today. So like what would happen? Would we end up? Do either of you think we'd end up with less social gun violence without the Second Amendment?
So
if they truly wouldn't allow.
So you're like, are you talking about taking away? Say we just
stop. Don't take away guns. Just stop. You know, what can you go buy a pistol in England? I don't know.
I have no idea. I don't think so.
A lot of those countries it's illegal to own a gun anymore.
Like so like, what if it all of a sudden became illegal to buy guns? Do you think after 20 years we'd see a decrease in violence or no?
No.
There's
still more knife violence than there is gun violence.
Yeah, I bet that's true.
So
that's true.
If they're just going to take away that resource, they're gonna find another way. There's knives out there. What are we gonna do then? Ban all knives?
Yeah,
you can't do that. So I don't know.
I'm just trying to get in the heads of what they're thinking a little bit, but like I don't agree with it. I'm just what are they trying to figure out?
They can have control over us. Is how I look at it.
Really?
So
the Democrats are trying to. This is their way of taking control of the country.
Yeah.
And turn it into what, like a socialist country?
Yeah. Well, look at history. Like, you go back through the Democratic Party, through history, they're always trying to keep you away from having rights.
Mm.
So they wanted slaves. They didn't want you to have your civil rights. They didn't want people to vote. They wanted to be in control. And that's a tyrannical government. And that's what our Constitution's there is to protect us from that.
So keeping the right to buy guns helps protect against all those things from happening?
Yeah.
Okay.
Not to mention how fun it is just to go
shoot,
go to a range and shoot. And obviously people use them for hunting.
Yep.
And there's a lot of uses for guns other than just self-defense. Like, put that aside, it is fun to do competition shooting. Hell, it's in the Olympics for the little 22s.
Mm.
It's a sport. It's a shooting sport. So there's a lot more than just... Hey, this is here to self-protect ourselves.
A lot of people, too, like having their own farms, it's there to help protect their farm, too.
To Chris's...
Yeah, from wildlife and...
Yeah, but to Chris's point, the Constitution, we're the only country that has the Second Amendment to where we actually have a right to own a firearm, whereas all these other states or countries, you can't, or you have to go through some crazy stuff to get it. Australia, they did the whole... gun ban and confiscated all the guns. So you can even having a gun in Australia to hunt is very difficult to get. Do they have less gun violence? Yes. But do they still have gun violence?
Yes.
Yes. So it's not stopping violence at all. It's just how people do it.
Well, that's kind of like saying, all right, say we all started relying on public transportation, there'd be less car accidents.
Right.
Because there's just less of them.
Yeah.
So I think that's the point, that what they're trying to do is just eliminate just the sheer number of them to reduce the volume, because naturally over time, eventually you're going to reduce the volume of guns and then there's going to be less violence with guns.
So many guns in the U.S.
Yeah, well, I'm sure there is.
Because you got to think most people with a gun, they probably own more than one.
Yeah.
Well,
Not to mention, I know some.
Except for Joe, he only owns one.
I have two. 3.
So
I have 3.
I know there's a city in Georgia that I kind of like. Their law is that if you own a house, you're supposed to have a gun.
AR-15s are assault weapons, assault rifles, even though that's not a thing, but you know what that is. It's basically an AR-15 AK. Do you think that banning those specific type of weapons would solve anything?
Like that gun?
Yes.
Like something like these?
Yes, the one that holds, a standard capacity 30 round. Because that's what Joe Biden and...
I think we're too far along. I don't think it matters if you ban them now. I think there's too many of them out there. I think there's just too many guns out there. I think you could ban them. You could even go around and collect them, but how many unregistered ARs are out there? I mean, you don't know how many there are. Nobody knows. So,
but most,
you know, I mean, like you could ban them, but they're still going to be out there at this point.
Unlike what you hear in the news, most gun crimes aren't done by ARs or AKs. They're usually pistols.
Yep.
Yeah.
Every time an AR is used, the media jumps on it and notifies.
Well, but there's also usually like a lot of people dead.
You could kill a lot of people with a Glock 19 with a 33 round magazine.
Yeah, but like the videos that you see pushed through are somebody with an AR.
Yes, because that's what they're like.
It's
this
the big
is why.
scary gun.
Yeah, it's a big scary gun. But most gun crime is done with a pistol, generally, not ARs.
Because it's harder and easier to conceal and hide.
Yeah,
that's why they're going to use a pistol.
I don't know. I think it's tough. You know, I'm all about preserving our rights. You know, but I don't. I think it's I think it's just a tough.
I think
the whole thing is just incredibly complex and difficult, and like there's a right answer, but when are we going to find the right answer?
Do you feel safer at home? No, I mean, because you live in a community where it's not easy for police to get to. Yes, you have certain police where you're at, but say they're busy. Somebody's breaking into your house to obviously do you and your wife harm, probably.
I would definitely feel better with a gun.
Okay.
No question.
Because right now, there's so many people, like cops aren't going to be able to get to you in time. If somebody is breaking down my door right now, even if I were to pick up the phone and call 911, it's going to take them 5-10 minutes to get here. That guy probably...
But how often, and again, I don't know if we're going to know this, but like the majority of break-ins happen when nobody is at home.
Correct.
So...
You would hope.
You'd hope.
Yeah.
You'd hope. So, you know, are we one often? You know, I don't know. I mean, there's maybe people listening to this that have been home for break-ins. That'd be terrible. You know, I mean, if you don't have any way to defend yourself, what do? You just have to let it happen.
Hide and pray to God.
That'd be a terrible situation.
Or it's just like in Oakland right now where people are getting
robbed in broad daylight outside walking their dog.
Yeah.
Well, my wife and I go to Chicago a lot, and we stay downtown in a safe area. You know, it's a safe area of Chicago. And actually, generally downtown, you know, we have family lives down there that haven't really had issues. And there's police on every corner at night, especially on the weekends. But like, there have been times we've been walking home from a bar at 1 a.m, or you know, and we kind of go maybe down a side street, which is dumb, or maybe even on a main road, and you know, it's hit me like, what would I do? You know, I don't carry cash. Like, I don't have any cash. I have a wallet with credit cards in it. Like, they're not going to take those because
traceable.
So like, what would I do? You know, if something were to happen, you know, if my wife's in heels, she can't run, you know? So, that's that's the home invasion, like all that's scary, but like the personal upfront, you know, and personal muggings, you know, how do you handle that?
And it's hard, like downtown, especially in Chicago itself, you really can't conceal carry a gun.
No, I don't think you can. I don't think it's legal.
So you can't legally, as a law-abiding citizen, do that. But do you think these people that are going to potentially attack you?
They don't care.
Exactly.
They don't care.
And that's what all this gun control is about. Is it's not hurting
the criminal.
Yeah, it's hurting the law-abiding citizens that just want to have a gun to do whatever with, not hurt anybody. But the ones that are actually wanting to hurt people with guns, do the crime, it doesn't affect them at all.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, it says, you know, you're not supposed to commit murder, but people commit murder all the time.
Yep.
Hey, you go to jail for it for a long time. You think that stops people? No.
They'll do it in jail.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it's crazy. I don't know. I think that there's just too many of them out there.
There are, and that's a good thing.
Yeah. I mean, they could, you know, like cash for clunkers, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, how many millions of good cars were crushed.
Yep.
People would trade in their 1992 2500 Chevy. They'd crush it and then buy a brand new 2003 Chevy, and you know, it's like the same thing. You know, maybe if the government said, "Hey, we'll give you $10,000 a gun. We'll give you $15,000 in tax credit for a AR and 10,000 for every pistol.
Yeah.
That's how you get guns off this. That's how you get guns from law-abiding citizens.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the criminal's not going to do
But
that.
then they turn around and sell it to a
Right.
third world country.
And then they come back here.
Yeah,
No, they'd melt them. They wouldn't sell them. They'd melt them. You know, but I don't know.
You never see videos of them actually melting these guns from these buyback programs.
Oh,
So where do they go? Do you really believe they're melting them, or do you think they're like,
I think they're probably melting them.
I don't know.
Hopefully they're not loaded. You know, but
That'd be a good question.
this isn't a very funny podcast.
well,
I mean, it took a turn.
that's all right. It's nice to have something because obviously Chris and I are so pro 2A. It's nice to get somebody who's not so much.
Well, I
kinda
hope
get
it's not
their
coming
opinion.
off that I'm like agreeing with California, but like I always try to put myself in other people's shoes and thought processes, and you know, I can see like I could honestly kind of see what they're trying to do, but like it's just too far gone. You know, they're gonna have to get the guns. They're gonna have to come get them if they're gonna fix this. Sorry,
We'll have to
And
see.
that won't happen.
I don't think it would.
Nope.
You know, I don't think it would.
As long as that 2A's in, it can't.
Yeah, I think they'll do the same thing with once electric. I don't want to change topics, but I think that they'll do the same thing that I was talking about before. Once electric cars really start to take off and the technology's there to build them and to dispose of them, and
I don't think it's going to be electric cars we're going to be having.
whatever it is, I think
I think
we'll see some sort of a huge
think
advantage to get rid of your internal combustion, and then all of
Electric
a sudden we'll
cars-
be off.
electric cars is what they're trying to push. They just want greener. That's not green. I'd see more hydrogen.
Yeah, I can see
cars
that.
in it than
But hydrogen,
it's dangerous.
yeah, I mean, you don't even know that you've blown up, you know. But sorry, Chris. Everyone's like, "Is Chris there?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be electric.
I don't. I just because once they're dead, they're dead. They're not recyclable like our combustion engine cars.
Send them to space.
And do what? Why?
Let them float around. I don't know.
So they can crash into our planet.
I don't know.
Burn
Just
up.
let them burn up. I don't know. Oh, hey guys. All right. I thought I saw aliens the other night.
Jesus.
Where?
I thought I saw. I swear to you, I was driving home on Monday night. Carrie was at a work event, and I went to check at the fuel house because they locked my keys in my car, so I
Yeah.
got that fixed. And the fuel house. Someone locked the keys. Maybe it was me. I don't know. And I'm on my way home. I'm getting off on the exit, and I look up, and there's a line of lights. There's 30 of them probably, just in a perfectly straight line up.
Huh.
And they're moving extremely slowly and disappearing one by one. I have a video of it. I'll show you after this.
Maybe they're drones.
No, I drove home after I pulled over, took the video, drove home, and I thought my life's never gonna be the same. I know that there's aliens now. Like I know that they exist.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be the guy in the news tomorrow, like I saw aliens. Oh my god! Like the guy from Independence Day, like, hey boys, I'm back.
Well, I mean, the government has said yes, there are
Yeah.
aliens.
Well, it was the SpaceX train. Have you heard of this?
what?
They launched satellites out of this huge rocket, I guess, and then they're pezzed out like a Pez dispenser,
Oh.
and they're like 20 miles apart,
Oh,
floating in unison.
in orbit.
And it
everything.
looked like, I swear, I'll show you. You can put the video up if I don't know if you could do that. It looked like aliens. And I sent the video to Carrie, my parents, and they were like, "Oh, what's that?" And then I sent it to my big sister, and she was like, "Oh yeah, it's a SpaceX train." Like, ah, okay, well that sucks. But yeah, did you see the aliens that the Mexican government presented?
Yeah.
Or not, the guy from Mexico presented to the Congress in Mexico? They were like clay.
Yep.
Do you think they're real?
No,
Really?
I don't.
What if they are?
Okay.
Did you see that, Keith?
No, I did not actually.
You know, maybe they have a solution for us on gun control.
Yeah, they're gonna come over here and take everyone over.
Like
Although-
Independence Day.
Yeah.
Although if there's an alien person or thing coming at me, I'd feel a little safer with a gun on me. I probably won't do anything, but you know,
Well, these aliens were like 2 feet tall, so
Yeah,
I think you'd
they're
be
like
all right.
step on it. You never know. They could have like some crazy freaking
Force field.
Yeah, something crazy.
Telepathic, where they take over your body and kill you.
Do you think they found us?
I think they've known about us for years.
You think so?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to think maybe that they haven't, but like think about how huge the universe is.
Yeah.
Well, we
Like,
haven't
maybe
found
it's-
them, so
Maybe
Or at least
maybe it's possible they haven't found us yet.
officially we haven't found them.
You know?
I don't know. I think when I was a kid, I thought I saw aliens at one time, like outside. We were playing, like, capture the flag. I know.
Shrooms will do that to you, Chris.
Well, this is like elementary school, so I wasn't
I
on
know.
shrooms. But we were sitting there playing, and there was a bright ball of light, but the moon was behind us, and it just sat there. We thought maybe it was a star. And we sat there and looked at it for like 10 minutes, and then it just disappeared.
Really?
Yeah, and we're
What
like,
color was it? White?
it was white, like it looked like a star. It was just a big, big star, and we're like, well, it's not the moon because
Talking to the mic, Chris.
The moon's behind us. The moon's behind us, but this thing's like right in front of us, and we're like sitting there looking at it like, what is this? It's too
What
big
if-
for a star.
Think about this. What if their technology is so advanced, and it'd have to be here, right? What if their technology is so advanced that they took you up in their spacecraft, did experiments, and put you right back into the same moment dimension that you started in,
You had
Big.
no idea.
and
Crazy.
you had no idea? Would that bother you
Yeah,
if you found that out?
probably.
Hmm.
That wouldn't mess with you.
What if aliens were hot?
Maybe they are.
I don't know.
Have you ever seen the movie Mars Attacks?
Oh god.
And they try to become a hot alien, and they bite the guy's like fingers off.
Yeah. Jesus.
Poor guy. Anyways.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
Well, the Coneheads were aliens.
Yeah.
They survived for a
Yeah.
while.
or it could be like Transformers where they were here the entire time.
Yeah.
You never know.
They could have been. I mean, they could have been come and gone five
I mean,
times.
Shoot,
you
they don't know how the pyramids are built still, so
Yeah. You know
Maybe.
how I think the pyramids are built? I have a theory.
I do too.
Okay, let me tell you mine, and then you can tell me yours. I think that they took like hundreds of thousands of people and just enslaved them into building them.
Okay.
And I think they're old enough. The evidence could be gone.
you
you
want
know.
to hear my theory?
What?
Giants.
Are you sure you're not on shrooms?
Yeah.
Or
bring
what is
up-
it? Ketamine?
well, they talk,
Maybe some ketamine.
They talk about it in the Bible about giants, and then there's always pictures of giants in architecture and things like that.
Now, what do you classify as a giant? Because we're giants compared to people that,
Like
100 years ago.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah,
Like-
sorry. I thought you were going to talk about midgets. Little people.
True. But
Like-
no,
like people that are like 12 feet tall.
is that a
They
giant?
have to, but they would have to be like hundreds of feet tall
Yeah.
to
Well,
lift these things.
Well, that and then how they cut the limestone to be precise. We can't
They
even
were
do that.
they
right
were
now.
incredibly smart.
Like maybe giants did it.
That's
Well,
the first time I've ever had that theory. or
But
that
maybe our development in stone cutting was muted because we figured out steel,
Maybe.
right? So maybe they didn't figure out steel, so that they could get the technology we have to do all this, but they figured out how to cut stone, and they figure out like maybe things that we don't even know yet. Because like, well, who's experiment? Like, are we really researching into this?
Yeah.
Like
Who
to
knows?
cut stone, we don't need it.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. Just a thought. Crazy.
It's crazy to
I
think
need a
that.
little more whiskey for this.
If anybody's smoking out there, this is a crazy. They're like, whoa, they're right.
Oh my god.
I'm gonna have a little bit more. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Do it.
Round 2 on a whiskey.
Yeah, I've never heard the
This is it though. I gotta drive.
giants theory.
Well, they talk about giants. I've also listened to a lot of Joe Rogan. And they talk about giants.
Who?
Joe Rogan.
Just kidding.
You know,
Who's that guy?
who knows?
He has like 2 subscribers.
But I was sitting there thinking,
I've actually never listened to Joe Rogan.
like maybe giants built them because they talk about it in the Bible. That's where I got that.
Chris is like completely pulling a Hunter with this episode. He is terrible mic etiquette in this episode.
Keeps falling. I've raised it like 4 times.
Hey,
and
do you
it
guys
just
want
falls.
to talk about
Well, tighten it, that ball there. Tighten
I
it.
did.
Yeah.
Do you guys want to talk about the Bible? No, I'm just kidding. Let's not get into that.
The Bible Belt. What is
The
that?
Bible Belt. Bible Belt. Lambert's Cafe. Sorry.
There's gonna be so much desk noise with that bottle.
I know, and I keep kicking and coughing, and it's
Man.
fine. You can just delete this episode.
Chris just needs to get 2 more SM7Bs and we won't have that issue.
I'm good.
So, what else is new, Keith, in your life? How are things going?
Good.
How's
I am-
work?
sucks. I'm working on winning the lottery. That's what I'm doing. So let me going back to electric cars. I know.
Oh damn!
No,
That's right.
no. I know Chris isn't into it, but if you had to pick an electric car, like any car model you wanted to, but it had to be electric, what would you choose? Because most people are like, oh, pick
Who's
a gas,
answering, Chris?
either one, whoever spits it out first.
Tesla makes every other car stupid.
Yeah. I agree.
BMW makes every other internal combustion car stupid.
But I'm not talking about like the ones that make it now. Like any car model that you could have, say it was electric, like a Lamborghini or a freaking your car or whatever. Any car model right now, which one would you want to have?
That's electric?
Yes.
So what's the favorite? What's your favorite car? I'd have a McLaren.
Would you?
Yeah.
All right. Not a DeLorean?
No.
You have a DeLorean.
My DeLorean's a
So
basket.
Joe has an all original DeLorean, right?
Yeah.
Why don't we make that bad boy electric?
So I can actually. So there's a shop in Crystal Lake, Illinois. I don't know how much it is, but they do. I think it's a Tesla conversion or some sort of electric conversion. I bet you it's a lot of money.
Would you do it? I mean, compared to your LS swap that you want to do, how much more do you think that could be?
I bet you it's 3 times.
You'd
much
have
money.
more trunk space, like twice as much.
It'd be
I
so
doubt it.
heavy though. I don't know. The car is terrible already. Like I don't want to make it. I would rather just put a V8 in it and move on.
So you'd want a McLaren, Chris?
I don't know. I wouldn't want an electric car, so.
Well,
Why don't you want an electric car? You talk to me about this. We need we need to turn this into
he likes to mess with cars. You can't really mess with an electric car, right?
That and
yeah, I mean, you can, if you're into tech, you can.
Yeah, but I don't know.
Chris wants to put a tune on his car now.
But Chris has never put a tune on anything.
Yeah, I have.
What?
The E30.
Oh, that doesn't count.
Yes, it does.
So he just wants
That's like, just because a car has a tune doesn't mean it's tuned.
No, it's got. I got.
Well, you had to because the motor wouldn't run.
No.
Why? I thought that you did it because you just like swapped some head on to the block.
That was for when I had the stroker motor, but for this one, I've got an Alpina tune on it.
Oh, okay. Well, he's got. I'm sorry. I apologize. I didn't know. I didn't know that.
I think it's Honda that makes an all-electric motorcycle that is also like automatic.
So does Harley.
I've seen the videos of the Honda one. It's amazing.
I hear it has like it's instant power and then a crazy amount of torque.
It's equivalent of like 500 horsepower.
Well, that's
on a
what
bike.
it is. That's what all electric motors are. Just torque and it's instant.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Isn't that what you need to be fast and win races?
Yeah, but you also got to think about weight, aerodynamics. What type of race are we doing?
Well, I mean, the cars can be built like any other car, so it could be built aerodynamic.
Yeah, I mean, weights. It's always gonna be heavy, but you have the power, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, but eventually you're going to run into the guy with the aerial atom.
Oh, a Model 3 Performance would eat an aerial atom alive in a straight line, at
In a
least.
straight line. But I'm talking like, let's talk about road courses.
Yeah. I don't
What
know.
the hell did you guys just say? A what? Atom?
It's like a slingshot with 4 wheels and a supercharged Honda motor.
Yeah, it's pretty much
pretty
a
cool.
go-kart.
Yeah,
an
they're pretty
adult
cool.
road go-kart.
I just think that I don't know. There's a new Model 3 Tesla coming out, and they've admitted that the build quality is going to be better. I think for $50,000, there is no better buy
For electric vehicles, yeah.
for any car. I think it's the most car you can buy.
I
And
don't.
the cool thing about it is it's an accessory. It's not just a car. So many cars are just cars. Even electric cars are just cars. You know, BMW and Mercedes, and they're accessories
Yeah.
to your life, right? But they provide the function. Well, the Tesla is the new accessory. It's the newest thing. You know, you roll through Beverly Hills, there's Teslas freaking everywhere.
Well, that's because it's California and they're it's green, but they don't realize how much focil fuels they're doing to dig up all these
What if they
rare
gave
minerals.
you an electric car that came with a Taylor Swift?
No.
I don't even need
No?
a car.
No?
Sorry, Carrie, love you.
I'm not
Sorry,
electric.
Travis.
Electric cars have been around for hundreds of years.
Well, the very early cars were electric,
Yeah.
but the fossil fuel fossil fuel is such a huge business.
Well, that
Already, they
what's
needed
the one
it to
thing
work.
with electric cars? They are limited on how far they can go. And
But
then you
so
gotta
is-
wait for it to charge.
Yeah, but if we would have started with electric cars, we wouldn't have that problem. It's just like the stone with the ancient Egyptians. We didn't get far enough with it. Now we need to get. Luckily, now we have a way to get around.
we do
In the
but
meantime,
it's still, like all these minerals. There's a reason why we're not making electric cars here in the U.S. because we cannot mine for those minerals because they're so hazardous to the environment. And then when they're done, when these batteries are done, what are we doing with them?
They got to figure out a way to recycle them.
Yeah, you can't do anything. It's better to have what we have now with combustion engines because everything's recyclable. You can reuse it.
What if we just put them in the ocean?
What if we have giants take us everywhere?
Giants. What if we just run on the backs of giants?
Or we go back to owning horses. I mean, let's just do that.
They shit everywhere, though. You don't want that.
That's true.
I think the future isn't going to be electric vehicles. I think it's going to be another fuel source.
You think so?
I think it's going to be hydrogen.
We need to learn something from these damn aliens already.
I know, right?
Come on.
Like that or like...
plutonium. 1.21 gigawatts. Is it plutonium?
Yep.
Hey,
Yeah,
if you had to go back, if we could take your DeLorean back to us any time, what time would you go back to?
1955.
Okay. Why?
That's when the big dance was under the
under
the sea.
Seriously.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Seriously though.
Anytime.
Anytime you go back to any time,
Oh.
and you would not have to.
Would I have to stay there?
No, you could just go back to visit.
Could I talk about what I saw? Because I'd like to be sitting here telling Chris how the pyramids were built.
Yeah. So we take a trip. We take a trip in your DeLorean.
All right.
Go hang out for a bit, and we come back. What time period are you?
Absolutely no questions asked. Ancient Egypt.
Go to? Okay. Like
or the Roman Empire. One of the two.
before it fell, or
Maybe during. I don't know. Right before. I don't know. Somewhere around there. What about you, Chris?
Caesar.
That'd be hard because I'm thinking about this like I go back then, I can buy a bunch of stocks, put it my name and for the future, and then when I come back, I'm stupid rich.
Well, you
and don't have to
can't
worry
do.
about-
Okay, so you can't do
We're
that.
saying you can't do that. Yeah, you're gonna.
What are you? Okay, Biff. You
Yeah.
ever seen the second one?
Yeah,
That's not an option. You can't do that. You're just gonna go visit, hang out.
I don't know. I think 1920s would be interesting to me.
Oh yeah, Prohibition, Depression.
And
Sorry.
well, jazz and all that.
Oh yeah.
He's gonna bring a bottle of whiskey with him,
Right,
so
that
he
sounds
doesn't
good.
have to worry about prohibition.
Yeah. And then, well, that's too like the old Model A's and stuff are starting to roll out.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
And that'd be kind of could to see.
You could tune it? Sorry, I'm sorry.
This is how it could be better. I would probably I would want to go back to like Greek, like Athens and all
Yeah.
that.
Oh, that'd be cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
You could just go to the Venetian and Vegas.
Yeah.
Right
What
on.
about you?
I go back to 1950, like just post-war.
Soda pop.
Like everybody's booming.
Yeah.
I love the cars from back then.
Lots of bush.
Yeah, a lot of bush.
A lot of bush.
I don't know, I just think the culture back then in the 1950s specifically was really cool.
I
I think
agree.
it'd be really cool to live. Like all this new technology was coming out. Things were different. I like the style of the 19. I mean, your house is
Mm-hmm.
kind of that
You
style.
could
Joe.
drive. You could go to like the soda fountain at night and hang out like with the the jukeboxes and
Yeah.
that'd be cool.
Yeah.
That'd be. I agree. That'd be cool. Cars are cool back in the 50s too.
Yep. 50s,
Yeah,
60s.
that's kind of things started taking off.
Yep.
Yeah.
See, what you got to think about if you go back to like the Roman days. I mean, nowhere has AC or heat. People stink. And then you got to go. You have some
People
issues.
stink.
So it's not like you could just go to a bathroom. I mean, you got to be shitting in those, whatever they call those public.
They don't teach you that in school. Like, where did they go to the bathroom?
No, it
They
was.
dug a hole.
They had these. At least the Romans had the.
Like bathhouses or like bathroom houses?
The first ones that there was a public that actually had piping was the.
That was the aqueducts.
What the hell was the name of that thing? Something like that. But yeah,
Oh,
I
that's
mean, it's
cool.
not like you could just.
Can't clog it.
I mean, you're also if you're at home, you're probably shitting in a bucket. I don't know, a hole.
Probably going digging a hole and
That
burying
was just
it.
a part of their life back then.
But it's like, yeah. But then you going from here to there, you're like, man, you people are.
Well, think
gross.
about it. Like in the early 1900s, there's really no AC.
I know that would suck. So I'm going to 1955. At
But-
least there was a little bit
But they didn't have climate change like we did now. It's probably
climate
cooler.
change.
It'd probably be cooler back then,
Chris,
even though all the records.
All right.
are from back
Thanks
then.
for tuning in. I don't know. I don't know. I think we're the most fortunate people right now to be living in the times that we live, and how lucky are we?
yeah,
Right?
We get a new iPhone every year.
Yeah.
That's
Chris just
awesome.
ordered his 15. Got in trouble with his father-in-law, but that'll happen.
Yep.
You know.
Can't wait for it to get here.
Let me ask you a question. How much money can you spend before your wife yells at you?
You asking Chris?
Yeah. What's the dollar amount before she gets onto you?
I don't know.
Yes, you do.
Yeah, you do.
Don't lie.
You're just afraid to say it. What is it? Be honest.
1,500.
Really?
Yeah.
You can spend $1,500 without your wife yelling at you?
She'll be
Or,
asking.
I'm sorry, asking and being maybe concerned, not yelling.
She'll be like,
concerned.
"So, what did you spend this on?"
Yeah.
He's nervous to ask in case she listens to this podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just had to kind of switch it up a little bit. $1,500?
Yeah.
Holy moly. What about you, Keith?
0. Like there's not a dollar figure. Like she doesn't care.
So she doesn't, she just
Our
doesn't care.
finances are separate, so
Are
she's-
yours?
She's like, as long as you pay
Yes
the,
and no.
Okay.
as long as I pay the mortgage, she doesn't give a crap
mean,
what I
I've-
spend my money on.
I spent $4,000 before, and
Just like not told her.
I told her, but she wasn't happy. Like,
Okay,
well,
so what's the dollar amount she can spend
she's
before
gonna-
you
what-
get upset?
I start.
Well, let me ask you. What if she spends $1,500 tonight on Amazon?
I'd probably lose my shit.
First of all, what are you
Okay.
spending $1,500
Yeah.
on Amazon?
Like at least
Groceries? I don't
like
know.
something. Usually, if I'm spending that money, it's something big.
Yeah.
So like a car or a
So
vacation.
she like knows it's happening.
Yeah, she's gonna know that's
Okay.
gonna happen.
Well, that's not what I was asking. Like, I mean, like if you go to
I don't know.
Shields,
I don't know because I've dropped like $1,000 before.
She
Right in
doesn't
front of her.
care?
She's like,
that's awesome.
okay, whatever.
My wife
it's
doesn't
your
either.
money.
Yeah.
But
I just hear stories of people's spouses, whether it's husband, wife, whatever. Like, just this is like a point of contention.
Like if
Like
it's
they
something
can't go out.
big,
Like they can't have lunch. Like
Yeah,
they can't go out to lunch
I've-
by themselves.
I've heard about that. Yeah,
Yeah.
but like if it's something big, usually she's gonna know about it
Yeah.
in some way because I'm gonna bring it to her. Like, hey, I'm thinking about buying this,
Yeah.
and she'll either be like, well, why? What is it for? Do we need it?
Yeah.
I have a feeling your answer is the same as mine, Joe.
What?
There is none. Like no.
I you know, we we communicate, so it's not a
I think that's the thing. Like a lot of those people that have that problem, they don't communicate.
yeah.
Yeah, it's not like I'm going to go out and buy the motorcycle I did without being like, hey, I'm thinking about buying a motorcycle.
Yeah.
It's a little bit different. Now,
I've brought cars home.
yeah, I can see that.
But you know,
But again,
Yeah,
it's different for us.
I guess I'm really lucky because she's never gotten mad.
It's different for you and I because we don't have kids.
That's true. That's a good point. That's a really good
So we're
point.
in a different situation too.
That's a really good point. You have kids.
Yep.
I think you're pretty lucky then. You both are.
Yeah.
You know.
She doesn't care as long as we got a roof over our head, food on the plate, and everything's paid for.
Yeah.
That's all she really cares about.
Yeah.
And a giant to build a pyramid in our backyard.
And a giant.
Giant.
With
alien.
aliens.
What if it was not just like a giant, but like a giant alien?
That'd be crazy.
Maybe that's why the giraffes' necks are so tall because they had to be able to see what was up there.
Maybe it was the dinosaurs that built them.
Maybe.
Can I ask you another question, Chris? I like to pick on you in the middle of these after I get a little bit of booze flowing. Let me ask you a question. If you had a theme song to get ready to every single morning, what would that theme song be? And we're going to answer for you after you do.
A theme song.
Yeah, what would Chris's theme song be?
Welcome to the jungle.
I knew you were going to say that. That's what I was going to say. That's hilarious. I was going to say, welcome to the jungle.
Why?
It just reminds me of Chris. I don't know why. That's hilarious that you said
Welcome
that,
to
actually.
the jungle.
What would you say Chris's theme song would be, Keith?
Oh man, I don't know. That'd be a tough one. I would not have said "Welcome to the Jungle." That's for sure.
Huh. What would you say? Yeah, come up with something. Don't make it weird.
Oh, I don't know. I can't
All right,
because he
well,
listens to a variety of music too. So
he does.
what would one be for you, Joe?
I don't know. Something stupid.
Yeah,
Probably.
you somehow came up with "Welcome to the Jungle." For
I
Chris.
just thought it was in my head. I've been thinking about it. I think for me it'd be like some
Like,
Earth,
is
Earth
this-
Wind and Fire song. You know, something like Boogie Wonderland or something. I don't know.
All right.
Keith, I think yours would be like, you know who Tiny Tim is?
No,
Look it up.
who's Tiny Tim?
Just look it up.
I think is that an insult?
No.
Who's Tiny Tim?
Tiptoe through the tulips. He got married on the Johnny Carson show. Am I the only one? Am I getting old?
A little bit.
Okay, sorry.
Starting to date
Keith,
yourself.
you can edit this right out.
I usually don't listen to the New Heights. I need to start listening to it, but it's primarily football, and it's like I watched the game, I know what happened. I don't need a recap on it. But I, probably like a whole bunch of other people, wanted to listen to the episode for one specific reason. And they delayed that specific reason until the end. And then they're like, oh, it happened. Taylor Swift was at the game. But that's all we're going to elaborate on. Like,
I think it's smart.
It is, but
Yeah.
it's like...
Did you hear Bill Belichick's comment? That was
Yep.
great.
What do you say?
It's like Travis Kelce's caught a lot of great balls in his time. This is probably the biggest catch of his life.
Yeah, probably. I say God bless them. The two of them. I hope they're happy, and I hope it works out. If they're just friends, they're friends. If they're if they're lovers, then that's great too.
Right. They did...
If not, just shake it off.
So he drove his little... What is it? Chevelle.
Yeah.
So they drove that to the plaza and rented out the social...
Prime Social.
Yeah, Prime Social.
Did you hear how they did it?
Yes. I wish I would have been eating dinner
Oh,
there.
it's been epic.
Paid for.
They've been awesome.
Yeah.
You have to leave now.
We're going to pay for your dinner, but you have to leave now. Can I at least take it with me?
There were some upset people about that. Like, what as a restaurant, wouldn't you do it?
Yeah, you'd have to.
Yeah,
You
I
got
mean,
the biggest superstar probably in the world
especially at the moment,
at the moment.
the
and
two
then-
biggest superstars.
And then you got Travis Kelce, the superstar of Kansas City, pretty much.
right.
And then they had all the Chiefs players go
Yeah.
there. So as a business, that's
Oh.
going to bring you a lot of business right there.
100. I bet you it was $100,000.
If not more.
And then the bill and tip for everyone in there already. Like biggest night ever probably for them. Maybe, and you know what? Maybe they gave it away. You never know. But it was a
wonder what-
big night for them either way.
I wonder why that spot, out of anywhere you can go in Kansas City, why that spot?
He can pull in underground, so nobody knows he shows up. Private elevators upstairs. Great view of the plaza. Dancing.
So you've been there.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
We go there on Monday nights.
Really?
Yeah,
Thanks for the invite.
We do
Jeez.
it so it doesn't feel like Monday.
Dang.
Well, thanks for the invite. I mean,
Okay.
I'd like to go.
You know what? Let's go. It's a great spot.
Hmm.
You can get in there. If you have a couple appetizers and a couple drinks, you can get out of there for $65-$70. But if you get a bunch of appetizers and the Mahomes drink, it's not cheap, but it's it's a good spot. You've never been up there?
No.
Yeah, I got a call. Prime Social. Here's your plug. You should call. You can make the reservation online, or you can call them, but you do have to wait in the lobby of the building that it's in if you don't have a reservation. And then they take you to the elevator. They press the button. You don't press anything, and it takes you right up. And they meet you at the elevator and greet you by name.
Wow.
Okay, so it makes a little more sense now.
That's why they went there.
Gotcha. I thought it was
Sorry.
like there's all
a
these other
hole in the
places you
wall.
could go, and you picked that place. Okay, this makes a
Yeah.
little bit more sense why they went there.
Yep.
Yeah, it's like it's the nicest, like
Private.
private-ish. Like you could, if you're gonna host a private party, and you got all the money in the world, that's the place.
But if you guys like these tactical wall panels behind us, check out tacticalwalls.com. They have all sorts of stuff, not only these panels, but all sorts of accessories to do it. And I actually found out that they have lights that go above here that shine down on the panels. I looked at their website recently. I'm like, man, I should have gotten those.
Yeah.
So they got those. They got a bunch of different concealment things. Check them out. Use code BSE10 for 10% off. And I've actually checked to make sure that code does work. So if you want 10% off on all their cool stuff, check them out.
You ever-
And
You ever been to a Shinedown concert?
No,
Yes.
but I want to go.
Really?
I have.
How was it?
It was good. It was at a rock fest.
Oh,
So
okay.
it wasn't a dedicated Shinedown restaurant.
How about Hinder? You been to Hinder?
God, are they still around?
I don't know. One time, Austin and I were drinking in Pittsburgh, and Hinder came on. He started crying. I'm so sorry, Austin. But the song made him emotional.
I
It
mean-
was Lips of an Angel.
Yeah, but you know what that song's about, right?
Yeah, he's on. They're on the phone with his mistress, and his wife's in the other room, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that what it's about?
Is
I
that-
thought it was about blowjobs for years, but it's not.
Where did this come from? Like, is that just a random?
You said shine down when you said the lights shine down.
Oh. Wow.
Sorry.
Jeez.
All right.
Sorry. I think we should keep going.
We can. Totally.
That's the wrong button.
It is. I always hit the wrong button and I mess Chris up so much because I hit the wrong button.
Remember, this is a YouTube podcast. Remember to like, subscribe, and tickle that bell if you're listening on any other platform such as Amazon, Apple iPad, or not iPad. God dang it.
Apple Music.
Apple Podcasts?
You know how long, when I did that solo podcast, you know how long it took me to do the outro? Because I'm like, Chris does this. I don't know what he fucking says. And it took me like 10 times.
Okay, let's try that again. Remember, this is a YouTube podcast. Remember to like, subscribe, and tickle that bell. If you're listening on any other platforms, please remember to hit that follow button. And with that, everyone, have a good one.
Doubting whether it's true, all the things you said you could do, not in the mood for a failure, always staring up.
But if you guys like these wall panels behind us from Tactical Walls, check out their website, tacticalwalls.com, and you can be a little shithead. Where did that come from?
And the buttons.
I think that got too serious. Or does it sometimes get that serious?
Are you afraid of serious relationships, Joe?
No, I just,
No, it's good. I mean, it's something that needs,
I feel like I got a little too against what you were saying
which is fine.
without being against.
It's all right. He does that to me all the time
I play devil's advocate
with me.
and make him.
Oh, good. So I
And
had to be the asshole this
and I
time.
get pissed off about it sometimes.
Well, I'm glad you can get pissed tonight.
There's been a couple where I've gone off.
You're wrong, though. You know that, right?
No, I was right on the times I did do it.
I think you're wrong.
I like to play devil's advocate just so we get that other side and be like, all right, why do you think that?
Yeah.
I'm
Maybe
right,
I'm
you're
wrong. Maybe I'm right. It's a
Hey,
weird-
so when Trump wins,
he's not even going to run, dude. He's out.
dude, he's
done.
still running. He
He's
just
running.
gave a speech
Yeah.
at
It's
Detroit.
done. He's done. He can't. He's going to be in fucking jail by then.
No, he's not.
No, Trump will never be
I know.
in
I mean,
jail.
again,
Not unless the Bidens are over there with him.
Now, everybody working for him might be in jail, but Trump won't be in jail.
why do I need to leave?
I gotta do an intro real quick.
An intro for what?
The
podcast,
podcast,
we do an
intro now. He's off of
I gotta figure out what I'm gonna say now. Dang it. What we talk about? Electric cars, taxes.
So we have Joe on the podcast who is anti-gun, and we convince him we are right and he is wrong.
No, I'm going to say not if you say that.
Welcome back to Workbench After Hours, episode 89. Fuck, dude.
I got mine, and I say all that shit.
Oh yeah,
You just
on this
say,
week's
in
episode.
this episode, we're blah.
On this episode.
Hey, he just walked through the fucking-
God. Woo. How many takes is it gonna take? On this week's episode, we discuss how the ATF isn't good enough, and Joe Biden thinks that he needs to have a new gun violence group.
Office of Gun Safety.
Office of Gun Safety? They're not safety, they're anti-gunners.
Okay. Yeah, but
Yeah, hold on. Give me a second. Let me get mentally. And we bring Joe back to talk about new perspectives. Why we drink Russell's private. God, is it Russell's private barrel selection? Take 55.
this is me every video. This is how many takes I do.
Yeah, it usually takes me one or two. On this week's episode, we talk about Joe Biden's new gun safety office because the ATF isn't good enough. And we bring Joe back on to talk about new perspectives on gun control. Why we drink Russell's Reserve Private Barrel Selection.
That was, why did you laugh? He was done. He said, why we drink.
Yeah, but people know that he doesn't get his words right.
I could cut that in. Should say, while we drink.
While we drink Russell's Reserve Private Barrel Selection.